SandySaysRead, and welcome to the channel. This evening we are going to do a bit of story time that is, so very tangentially related to books. So just got a little bit of relation to books. So it kind of sort of fits a booktube channel. Just a little. Where should we begin? Let's begin with, hey guys, you should subscribe to the channel. And please encourage your friends to subscribe to the channel too, because sometimes things get quirky and weird. And right now they're about to get quirky and weird. Buckle up. All right, there is a channel here called Reads with Rachel. I enjoy watching Reads with Rachel. Rachel often has just clever, quirky, fun, humorous, entertaining stories that she tells throughout the reviews that she does. She also has a series that she calls Authors Behaving Badly. Within Authors Behaving Badly, she often will talk about an author who has blown up their career or started acting crazily in response to reviews. And what she teaches us is that we should not read our own reviews. We really shouldn't. And as authors, it's so hard not to read our reviews, right? We're taught, from the very beginning, we're taught that those reviews are like our lifeblood, right? Amazon will push a book if it has enough reviews, if it has enough, it's an algorithm, right? If Amazon thinks that your book has enough reviews, then it must be fabulous and great, and it will push your book and help you sell more books, right? Recommend your book to more people. So those reviews they're like little pieces of gold, and publishers, whether they're indie publishers, trad publishers, whatever, agents, literary agents, editors, they all tell us authors that we should be getting more reviews. So with that kind of pressure on reviews, you're probably going to look at them. I have read mine. I've looked at mine. I've gotten at least 2 just really negative, nasty reviews over the years. But typically, I get pretty nice reviews. People say pretty nice things, constructive things, pleasant things, and I am thankful for that. I'm grateful. I'm humbled by it. Most of the time, if I get a good review, I'm just like, oh my God, I just got a good review. That's so awesome. It lifts your spirits. It's like a dopamine rush, right? It's awesome when someone out there says something good about your book. That's your baby, right? But it's awful when someone says something mean about your book, if it's mean-spirited especially. And it is, your instinct is to fight back. Your instinct is to say, well, that's not very nice. I didn't mean for you to think this. But you can't. You can't be saying stuff back to these reviewers. And I don't engage with reviewers. No. Unfortunately, there are people out there who do. And when you engage with a reviewer, when you engage with a troll, when you engage with a person who's trying to be mean, and I'm not saying reviewers are trolls. I'm not saying that at all. I hope that didn't just come across. When you engage with anyone in the pool of people out there in the internet in negative ways, it reflects on you as the author in a negative way. This can also be said for any entrepreneur in business who receives reviews on Yelp or any platform, right? Anywhere that your Google pages, anywhere that you're getting a review of your business, it's not wise to respond to those reviews. It's just not a good thing. And today's story time is going to talk about a fellow who responds to reviews in such a way that there is no way I'm going to leave a review of his business. Even though he's crazy, he's a bad driver, he almost got us killed, and he's currently stalking me. I'm not going to leave a review about him because he's currently stalking me, and that would only make it worse. Okay, so let's dive into our story, shall we? And as I'm diving into this story, or as I wrote down notes, because I'm ancient, I need the notes to get us through this. As I was jotting down the notes for this video, I realized I don't do well with airports. The airport transportation thing, it's just not my bag. I think I should stop traveling by airport. Okay, so back in November, I think it was mid-November, early November. There was some point in November when I discovered, or when I learned, that my car was not safe to drive. There was this potential to lose the ability to steer. And there were some problems with this. There were just problems with the car. Okay. So it was not safe to drive. I could not drive it. I needed to get it fixed. It was going to be expensive to get it fixed. I was actually thinking that I might just need to yeet the car and get a new one. Thank goodness the car could be salvaged. I didn't have to get a new one. Thank goodness. But there was this idea that it was going to take some money to get this thing fixed. That's another Oprah show for another day. Okay, so I needed to get my car fixed, but I was going to be traveling for Christmas, and I needed a way to get to and from the airport. So I thought, ooh, I need a car service for that, right? Okay, so I go onto the Nextdoor app. Y'all might be familiar with Nextdoor. It's an online community. It's all over the United States, but you can lock into your local neighborhood Nextdoor app. And you can leave reviews and talk to your neighbors, which is riveting in my neighborhood. But you can, get information from your neighbors about stuff. I'm freezing. Ladies and gentlemen, if I'm shaking, if you hear my teeth chattering, it's because I'm freezing, okay? Sorry. We're going to keep powering through. All right, so I went to the Nextdoor app and I looked for, recommendations on car services. There was one here in Central Florida that was recommended. And I thought, okay, great, okay. So I contacted that service and yay, this individual who owned the service could get me to and from the airport. He was friendly enough on the phone, kind of quirky, like me, quirky. But he was friendly and he could get me to and from the airport at the weird early morning time that I needed to get to the airport and back again. And I asked him about some business trips I had coming up in the first quarter of this year in 2024. I asked if he was available to do drives that were not to an airport. Did he do, because his company name includes the word airport. Okay, I'll give you that much. I'm not naming this guy out here on the internet because he will find me and I'll probably get shot someday. But his company name does have the word airport in it. So I thought, well, it was a legitimate question to ask, hey, do you also drive to other locations? Because I do have a business trip coming up in Tampa near the end of January. My boss is getting a VRBO for the whole company, and I don't know that address yet. I just know it's in Tampa. Do you drive to that kind of location? And yes, he does, and he can take care of that. I'm like, awesome. So I told him the date that would be happening. But again, I didn't know the address yet. Fine, I could tell him that later. Good, we're set. So the day of travel to Kansas comes, and he arrives. My pickup time was 3:30 a.m., and he calls me to tell me at 3:02 a.m. that he's in my driveway already. I'm like, oh my gosh. And he says, I'm a couple minutes early. I'm like, yeah, a couple. I was ready. I was ready to go. I was just uploading some stuff, I think, to this channel. I think I was uploading a video for this channel. So I'm in the middle of that. I'm like, my computer is uploading something. I'm going to need a minute. And then I'll be out. So just hang there in my driveway for a minute. And that was fine. It was better to be early than to be late, right? That's what I was thinking. It's better that I have a little bit of angst and pressure getting out the door than to be late for a flight. I would rather it be that way. And the drive to the airport was pretty simple. The only weirdness really on that drive, the only thing that should have clued me in was that he kept messing with the navigation screen on his console to change it so that he could report and notify other drivers about a car at the side of the road or a police officer. He kept notifying them of road hazards. He kept messing with the console. I'm like, dude, maybe you should be concentrating on driving, but whatever. If that doesn't distract you, great. Let's just get to the airport. He also wanted to confirm the business trip I had coming up near the end of January, and because he didn't have an address for me where I was going. I'm like, dude, I don't have the address. I just know it's in Tampa. So, okay, so that can be confirmed later. That sounds great. We'll confirm it later. All right. So off I go. We get me to the airport. Nothing, weird happens really. When I was in Kansas for Christmas, he only contacted me a couple times while I was out there just to confirm the pickup, which is totally professional, totally understandable, makes sense. But one of those times, he also wanted to confirm the business trip near the end of January and get the address for it. I'm like, dude, I don't have the address yet. We just have to wait. They're not going to give us the address for that VRBO until about a week before. They just don't give it to us. Okay, so we can't confirm it yet. We can't confirm it yet. Then the day came for me to return home to Tampa, and my flight was 15 minutes late. Like we were sitting at the airport, and I remember the pilot coming on and saying that the luggage handlers weren't done ripping the handles off our bags yet. And I remember thinking, that's not really funny, dude. And then when I did get my luggage, they had ripped the handle off my bag. Like, what? What kind of premonition was that? Anyway, so we had to wait on the luggage to get loaded. And that's why we were 15 minutes late, apparently. I don't know. We were 15 minutes late. Well, when we landed and I got my phone out of my bag, I found that the dude picking me up at the airport had been texting me because he arrived to the airport early. I don't know how early, but he had arrived early. So he had arrived like before my plane had landed, and my plane had landed 15 minutes late. So he's like full of angst and ready to leave. I'm like, well, I have just landed. My plane is I'm not off the plane yet. And so you must wait for me to get to the luggage carousel, and then must wait for me to pick up my luggage. And he was surprised that I had luggage. I'm like, well, I'm the same person who had luggage when, I didn't say that to him, but I was the same person who had luggage when he dropped me off. But he drops off a lot of people, I'm sure. So he may have forgotten that I had luggage. It's all fine. I'm waiting for the luggage at the carousel, and he calls me again to let me know that he's still waiting. I'm like, well, that's good because I'm still waiting for my luggage. And then he started texting me pictures of his van with the door open and the trunk open and the license plate. I'm like, okay, so I'm going to know what the van looks like when I get my stuff. That's great. I can't do anything about the fact that the luggage isn't here yet. Then he's texting me to let me know that he has another client. Like he needs to get me home and then get back to the airport because he has another client. So apparently I need to hurry up. I could do nothing about the fact that my luggage wasn't there yet. I just had to wait for it to come out on the carousel. It came out. Yay. So I grab my bags and I rush out to his van. And we get them into the van. And I get into the van and he's telling me about he has another client coming. And so he has to get me home and then get back down here to the airport. And he's like figuring out the math. He's doing the math out loud as we take off. And as we take off and we're leaving the airport, and he almost misses the exit onto the Sunshine Parkway Express. Sunshine Parkway. He's about to miss the exit. And so he has to whip it across traffic, and he misses the Jersey barriers by a few yards. I'm like, dude, you're going to kill us. We're going to die. We're going to die because you're in a hurry to get back to the airport. This is not good. Well, he did get distracted again. He's still doing math out loud. He did get distracted again and stopped doing the math because he got a phone call. He got a phone call from a car salesman. This car salesman, bless his heart, I felt sorry for the car salesman, okay? This car salesman was trying to reach a fellow who no longer worked for my driver's company. The driver owns the company. He is, if I understand correctly, he is the company now. Because the guy that this car salesman's trying to reach no longer works for him. So the car salesman gets to talk to my driver. And they begin to fight about the prices of a vehicle that my driver wanted to purchase. And it's not going well. And I'm like, oh man, if I was that car salesman, I would just hang up now. I would just hang up. You're not going to make this sale. Just hang up. Oh, it went on for quite some time. They argued about the price of the car, obviously. They argued about a warranty that was available through a different dealership, like Toyota or something, right? They argued over like the 30-day money back guarantee. If you don't like it, you can return it, kind of thing that I think Toyota used to do, if they still do it. They were arguing over whether or not Toyota still gives that guarantee, right? They were arguing over where different types of cars are available these days. They argued over all kinds of stuff. I mean, they were arguing, and the car salesman was trying to get off the call. Like, he was trying to hang up. I could tell he was trying to get off that call, and my driver wouldn't let him. Like, he just kept arguing and fighting because he was right, and he was going to make it known that he was right and that he knew his car stuff. I'm like, dude, this is a really uncomfortable, weird situation. I just want to get home without dying. I just want to get home. They did finally hang up. They did get off that phone call. And the driver called another car salesman that he knows, apparently because it was a person in his phone deck, to ask about the Toyota guarantee thing because he had to prove that he was right. I guess to himself. I don't know. It was weird. I'm like, dude, can you just drive? Can you just pay attention to driving? Because the whole time this is all going on, he's like messing with that navigation screen, like changing away from navigation to alert the other drivers about road hazards that we're passing. I'm like, stop. That the road hazard is you, dude. It's you. It was awful. Anyway, we did get me home alive. You can see that I am home. I'm alive. We did get me home safe, alive, and he wanted to confirm the business trip coming up at the end of January. And I'm like, dude, I don't know the address, and I'm not sure about the date. Let me look that stuff up. Because there's no way in hell I'm getting into a vehicle with that man ever again. Never again. Never again. And I thought, I really need to alert the people on the Nextdoor app. I need to alert people on Yelp, on Google, whatever. People need to be aware that this man is a danger, that he's a distracted driver, that he's a little bit wacky, that this was just an uncomfortable experience for me. So I go online to do that, like a day or two later, right? It wasn't right away. I had things to do. Oh my goodness, this is where the review thing comes in. When I went on to Yelp, I saw that, yes, he does have some reviews, and they're not great. There were a couple that were pretty good, like it was timely, efficient, whatever. Then there are reviews that talk about his driving, not his. I guess his son used to drive for him, someone else used to drive for him. Probably the guy that doesn't work there anymore. Other drivers in the company they've gotten glowing reviews. This man, he doesn't have positive reviews. And those not positive reviews, he has responded to. And he has responded like a troll. He has responded like a person who is trying so hard to regain his youth and driving record. I don't know. It's a little bit scary. It's a little bit frightening. And I was not going to leave a review there for this person. Not going to do that because he knows where I live. And he keeps calling and leaving weird messages about, we've got to confirm the time and the address. We've got to confirm when I'm picking you up. But I'm like, you're not picking me up. Like, you can go online onto the name of company here. You can go onto their website and you can, confirm and cancel. And I've canceled. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting into a vehicle with that man ever again. I don't care who in his company might be the driver for me. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. That's it. That's a thumbs up for never getting in a vehicle with a crazy, distracted driver again. Seriously, though, I recognize that his responses to his reviews are unsettling. They're uncomfortable. They're more uncomfortable than that conversation I had to listen to in the car. It's uncomfortable, and it makes him look unhinged. much like an author who responds to negative reviews looks a bit unhinged. So yeah. Anytime you have a review that is less than awesome, it's best to just ignore it. Pretend it didn't happen. Ignore it. Let it roll off you like water off a duck. Just pretend. Walk away from it. Turn away. Turn off the computer. Do something else. Yeah, I did have a negative review on a short story that I had given away for free online one time. And after I read that review, I'm like, oh, darn. Well, I'm just going to go polish the trophy I have for my best short story over here. So you just do something else. This is a negative thing here. This is a sadness. Go do something positive and affirming over here instead. Just don't respond to the negativity. It's not worth looking unhinged and crazy. Because, this driver looks unhinged and crazy. In the event that I suddenly go missing, you guys, look at car services in Central Florida with the word airport in their title. Yeah. If you guys want to reach out to me by private message, direct message, I can tell you more. I can tell you some other things. But there's some stuff I'm not going to say this guy's name out here on the internet. First of all, it's not really polite, but I'm pretty sure that somehow, I bet he's got like Google Alerts set up. If I put his name out here on the internet, he would find this, see it, and I'd have someone on my doorstep. That's it. Thumbs up for setting boundaries when it comes to car services. And please subscribe to the channel, because some of these things are not such a stretch to deal with books and book reviews and book information. This one was a stretch. Yeah, this one was a stretch. But it was a fun little story time. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.